Crazies.com with a question. I want to open this Periscope and this YouTube with a question. Why does the media give millions in free PR to David Duke? Why does the media give millions in free PR to the alt-rodents, to people who look like Jason Kessler? Did anybody see Jason Kessler get run out of the protest? Little schlubby doughboy. This is the leader of the alt-right. Richard Spencer gets chased down the street by Antifa, runs away. Little doughboy, weasel, Jason Kessler's run out of the town. These people are losers. Why do they get all this free PR, though? Why do they get millions in free publicity? That's the question I want to know. Their national rally draws 500 people. Good job. Good job. 500 people. That's the size of their event. 500 people. So then why do they get millions in free publicity? Because, of course, crazies are going to show up. Crazy people are going to show up. Because if you want to commit murder, you want to do it before a big audience. Right? So why is the media not doing any? Yeah, doughboy Nazi Kessler. Did you guys see it? Let me see if I can find my iPad. I mean, what a joke this kid is. What is wrong with you? That is your leader? You know, if you're in the military, you have to kind of, if you're in the military and your leader's kind of chewed up, you have to follow him because that's just the way it is, chain of command and everything. Respect the uniform, not the person. But you voluntarily want to follow people like that? Little schlubby weasels that get run out, can't stand up for themselves, get chased down the street? That's the leader of the movement? It's like the alt-right is like affirmative action for nobodies. So if you can't hack it, in life doing anything real, then they'll accept you because they have no talent. So it's like an affirmative action thing. So if you have something to say, but it's not interesting or novel, then if you just go, we hate the Jews, well, there aren't that many people who hate Jews and want to say they hate Jews. So the alt-right is like, welcome to the party. You can be the leader. You can lead us if you want to talk about why you hate the Jews. Come on over. So it's affirmative action. It's affirmative action for people who couldn't hack it doing stuff like I do. Now, there are some crazy conspiracy theories going along, like James Fields. Guys, let's just dismiss this right away. This is how, you can read it in Cialdini's book. There are people who want to commit murder in a very public way, and they know that if they do it at a big event, then they'll get all the PR and fame they want. The media is going to make you famous. Here's what I've always said. Mike, don't trash the alt-right. Blocked. You can go follow Jason Kessler and rodents who run down the street. All right? You can go follow those people, but I'm going to trash losers. I trash losers. It's what I do. All right? And what I'm seeing with little Kessler, Weasel Kessler, being chased down the street, the alt-rodents. I rebrand the alt-right alt-rodents because that's what they really are, little rats. They can't make it. They can't make it in the real world. They couldn't hack it doing anything normal, so they just go, oh, we hate the Jews, and the Jews are bad and everything. The alt-right are the alt-rodents. That's what they are, rats. Scurrying around, we hate the Jews are bad, let's do something about them. Good. Go be with your little fellow alt-rodents. That's what the movement is. It's a movement of rats, little rat Kessler. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to find my iPad. Don't go anywhere. Hit the like button on YouTube. I'm going to show you a picture of this kid. When I show you this picture, if you want to be associated with these people, then you can't be associated with me. And we're back. By the way, a lot of people have been asking about this shirt. The reason it looks so good on me is it's a custom-made shirt from Seville, wrote in London. So that's why people go, oh, shirt game is on point. Yeah, this isn't an off-the-rack shirt. This is a custom shirt. They take all your measurements and everything. So I encourage you, if you have the means, you should always go custom in your attire. So let's look at the alt-rodent. Alt-rodent Jason Kessler. I mean, this guy is a first-class loser. Hold on. Here, so I'll show it to the Periscope people first, and then I'll show it to the YouTubers. That's your leader. Here, let me show you that clip again. That's Jason Kessler. That's the alt-right leader. That was that's the guy who organized Unite the Right rally. You know those idiots tried to get me at their stupid rally? So the fake news media is trying to, Chuck Todd on Meet the Press called me an alt-right leader. I just deal with these lies every day. The fake news media try to claim, that bullshit rally was trying to suck me in. That's why they called it Unite the Right. They thought they were going to con me into their stupid rally. They tried to con me into their dumb rally a couple months ago in D.C. Their rally at the Washington Monument. I said, hell no, I'm not going to be in any rally where Richard Spencer speaks. Where if he wants to speak, he has a First Amendment right to. I'm not going to ever be on the head. I banned that idiot from everything I did. One of his friends showed up to the Bull Moose party and was talking shit. And what happened to that little friend of his? So Mike Cernovich talks a big game about disavowing political violence, right? I talk a big game, but I'll be really honest with you. One of Richard's little buddies showed up to my party that I co-organized with Jeff, the Bull Moose party, and he started talking shit. And you know what he did? Like the little alt-rodent, he scurried out the door because I tuned his ass up. He wanted to run his mouth, and I go, don't come to my effing party and run your mouth. And then he kept running his mouth, so I tuned him up a little bit, and then he scurried away like the little rodent that he is, the little alt-rodents. So as you can see right here, Jason Kessler, a little alt-rodent, being rushed out like a little bitch. Look at him. Look at him, scared. Look at this, scared. Scared little rodent right there. Officer, rescue me. Officer, help me. Rescue me. I just wanted to have all this free PR. So that's, him running out, ill-fitting suit, schlubby. This is the alt-right. That is the face of the alt-right. This is what the alt-right looks like. That's the meme. This is what the alt-right looks like. Little alt-rodents. So people are so desperate for meaning that is who they're going to unite around. Good, but stay away from me. Right? Stay away from me. So they're dumb Unite the Right. And Jack will tell you, too, tried to con Jack into talking at their thing. That's why he had to counter-program the rally. So they had some rally, and they conned Jack and Laura Loomer, who's Jewish, into talking. And then after they conned them into attending, they go, oh, yeah, by the way, Richard Spencer's going to come talk about how we hate Jews. And then Laura and Jack were like, what is this bullshit? So then they, said no. And then left, and then there was another rally, the rally against political violence, which, talked about a lot of these issues that are happening, where we warned people about political violence. And the media never showed up to that, right? The media never showed up, but today they're going, oh yeah, Cernovich is I'll tell you what, Chuck Todd. So Chuck Todd, I have to confirm this, okay? I have to confirm this, but I got a text message which said, wait, where the hell is it? They go, Chuck Todd on Meet the Press read one of your tweets in his interview with McMaster. He said you were a self-described leader of the alt-right. So we have Chuck Todd of NBC lying about me on Meet the Press. These people I'm going to have to sue them. It's a big media corporation. I've never sued anybody for defamation, but I'll sue NBC. I'll sue Chuck Todd, so I have to watch the clip. I haven't seen the clip yet, but so that was reported to me by a friend of mine who sent me like a good, message of support. I've never described myself as leader of the alt-right. And I cocked back when they threw up the Nazi salute in December. So this is all, it's all fabrication. So Chuck Todd, I might have to sue this guy. I don't, these people, this is how deep they'll go to discredit me. Man, I've been called the cuck for, since December, guys. Ever since I told people if you wanted to do Nazi salutes, then just can't come to my events. So yeah, that's Cuckovich. Yeah, Cuckovich ain't leading. So yeah, they'll tell you right now in the YouTube, so Chuck Todd, Mike Cuckovich don't lead anything about the alt-right. Why don't you go ask the alt-right people if Mike Cuckovich or Kaikovich, it changes. Sometimes I'm Cuckovich, sometimes I'm Kaikovich, it depends on what mood the guys are in. Why don't you go ask them if I'm a leader of the alt-right or if I have anything to do with the alt-right? I've done a very good job of keeping myself away. Well, you're right along about all the stupid Nazi shit. Yeah, of course I'm right. I understand human beings. I understand humanity. I read a lot of books. Here, I'll show you another book I read last year. So this is a great book, The Lion of Jordan, The Life of King Hussein. So I was in Jordan doing research on Islamicism and Christianity and Judaism and everything. So I went and lived in Jordan for a little while. And so whenever I go visit a country, I like to read the seminal book of the nation. And King King Hussein of Jordan was beloved by the Jordanian people. So I said, well, I'll read about him. So when I went in Vietnam, I read a book about the Vietnam War from the Vietnamese perspective. When I was in Cambodia, I read a book about the Cambodian genocide called Survival in the Killing Fields, which is the most moving book I've ever actually read. So whenever I travel to another, and you know what you realize when you travel the world and you just read the great books about the people? We're fucking a bad race, man. We were a mistake by God. That's all I got to say about that. People who say God doesn't make mistakes, the human race was a real big mistake by God. The human race is enough to make you not believe in God. When you just look around at the absolute insanity happening today by the left, happening today by the right, killing each other, genocide, the murders going on, what happened yesterday, right? The human race was not the greatest invention ever in terms of just the Cambodian genocide, the Holocaust, all of our wars, the wars that McMaster and other people want us to go into again. I know it's original sin. If a flip line about God making a mistake is going to trigger you, then just leave. I don't have time for any morons. I don't have time for anybody who can't do nuance and doesn't want to go deep and doesn't want to think. So if you go, oh my God, Cernovich said God made a mistake with the human race, just get out. Go with the Nazis. You're the same thing. Idiots. You're the same thing. If you can't actually delve deeply into an issue without freaking out, then you're a dogmatist. And if you're a dogmatist, you're only a step away from committing the same crap that we saw yesterday. That's the problem with dogmatic thinking. I'm not a dogmatic thinker. I'm prepared to engage in thought experiments. And people who don't want to do thought experiments and who are dogmatic thinkers are going to get triggered. If I run for Congress, people are going to go 30 seconds, oh my God, Cernovich claimed the human race was a mistake, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Clip them. Clip your stupid little videos. Go cry yourselves to sleep. I don't have time for this nonsense. I only have time for people who want to actually think and have a critical discussion about important issues in the world. Relax, Cernovich. No, I don't relax. You have been giving good comments, so I won't block you. But anybody who tells me to relax or to change the subject or you don't want me to talk about it, those are instant blocks. I'm blowing it, dude. You're blocked. I don't want you here. How many times do I have to tell people this? If you don't like my videos, don't watch. Have I ever bought an advertisement? Never. Never bought an ad. I talk about what interests me. I talk about what interests me, and if people like it, they watch. If people don't like it, they don't watch. This is what there will always be. How it will always be. So when you study humanity, you realize that we're all the same, and identity politics gets you the same place. Read a book on the Cambodian genocide, right? Read a book on the Cambodian genocide, identity politics. So if you study what happens to multi-ethnic cultures that go into identity politics, you always end up with balkanization. you always end up with mass murder. You always end up with genocide. So what we are seeing now is a form of genocide in America. The Antifa started it, and the media never showed a leadership. And you got to show leadership. I'm showing leadership. When the Nazi salute BS happened, I said, I'm not going to have anything to do with that. Right? I'm going to say, I'm not going to have anything to do with that. The media has never disavowed Antifa. The media has never disavowed the violence by the left. Jay Tapper, CNN, they've all covered up Antifa. Well, it's time for people to actually show leadership. It's time for people to step up and show leadership. And the way I show leadership is saying that, and I've said this repeatedly, if you have hate in your heart, don't follow me. I've even said that about the Muslims. If you legitimately hate Muslims, I don't want you here either. I had a very long, broad-ranging conversation with a friend of mine, Nabil, about Islam. And he's a Sharia law Muslim. And people were throwing a fit. And I said, don't watch it then. I'm here to help people understand the world and understanding the world. So I don't hate the Muslims. I don't hate Christians. I don't hate white people. Right now, there's hatred of white people. There's massive hatred of white people, massive hatred of men, massive hatred of Western values, but there's hatred all along, and people need to figure out how to get along because we're all stuck in here together. This is what people don't understand about anything, is that if you're in a multi-ethnic society where identity politics is elevated, there will be mass murders. There will be mass murders. So what we saw yesterday, I consider that just the beginning. Anybody who can't see that that's just the beginning has not studied humanity and the human condition in the way that I have. They haven't read the great books. They haven't thought through where we're headed. So Jack Tapper encouraged violence. He did. No, there's no question about that. CNN has blood on their hands. There's absolutely no question. When Antifa was committing violence on people, and they covered it up and they encouraged it, right? And they covered it up and they encouraged it, then they made it so that violence became normalized. This is what people don't understand about humanity. When you normalize violence against them, you are normalizing violence against yourself. This is a fundamental rule of humanity. When you say it's okay to go kill Donald Trump people, then Donald Trump people are going to be upset. If you say it's okay to kill Antifa, which I disavow killing Antifa, I disavow all violence, then Antifa is going to say it's okay. So this all started by the left, and this all started about the media. But I want to know, why does the media give so much attention to these guys with the 500-person rally? Let me tell you a very funny moment that I had. This is a real epiphany that I had. Had a big epiphany so there were these competing rallies, there was the Unite the Right rally, and then there was the rally against political violence, which was organized by Jack Posobiec. And the people at the one rally, the Nazi rally, they go, "Oh my God, we had way more people at the Nazi rally than Posobiec and those guys had at their rally. We had way more people at that rally." And I go, "What do you mean? How many people did you have?" Right? 150, 175. I went to the Trump Hotel and met with the Housewives for Trump. They had 500 people at a book signing. So I mean, think about this. The Virginia Housewives for Trump had a bigger rally than the Nazi rally, but the media doesn't cover the Virginia Housewives for Donald Trump rally. They don't go say, "Oh, there's all these women, or they're housewives, and they're sweet women, and they're at a book signing for Shell Atkinson, and here's what they're up to." No. If I wanted millions of dollars in media coverage right now, I would throw a Nazi salute. True or false? I mean, let's discover how the media really incites this stuff. If all I cared about was fame, if I threw up a Nazi salute right now, I would get millions, tens of millions of dollars in free publicity. I would be front page of every newspaper. But if you do something good, they don't pretend you don't exist. If I do a mindset seminar, they're never going to show up to my mindset seminars where I actually help people and I'm totally positive, and we have everybody from all walks of life come into my mindset seminars: women, men, blacks, whites, Hispanics, Christians, Jews, Muslims, and we all just try to figure out how to have a better life. They'll never send anybody to cover a mindset seminar. No. But if I had 10 guys in a room throwing up Nazi salutes, right? If I had 10 people in a room and we threw up Nazi salutes, oh, that would be big news. Oh, they would cover that. Mike Cernovich, the Nazi thing. Look at these people, 10 people. But if you have actually a big rally or a big mindset seminar, you do anything positive, media's not there at all. Why is that? I'll tell you why. It's a psyop. By the way, I always love when people go, Cernovich, you had too much coffee today. This is my first coffee, guys. This is called having a burning passion every day that I wake up. Cernovich, be quiet. Cernovich, no. I'm not going to turn the fire off. I'm not going to extinguish the fire because you're dead inside, because you don't feel anything in your heart, because you have no spirit, no fighting will. Calm down. No. This is what a fully actualized life looks like. This is what people who have love in their heart and fire in their spirit look like, talk like, act like. We don't go, Amber Beck, Mike Cernovich. Go watch Jason Kessler for that. Look at these eyes. This is what it looks like to be alive. And the media won't give you examples of people are alive. I have more Twitter followers than all of the alt-rodents combined. Right? My movement, Ali, Jack, all the crew, our movement, way bigger than theirs. Way bigger. I have more Twitter followers than all the alt-rodents combined. All right? But the media doesn't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the positive message. Right? They don't want to talk about anything inspirational, anything uniting. They don't want to cover the Virginia housewives for Donald Trump. They don't want media images of very nice women who are housewives who are out for a Cheryl Atkinson book signing. That isn't the image they want to create of Trump supporters. They don't want to have, hey, look at these nice people. You know, they're nice people like Trump. Why do nice people like Trump? Maybe there's more to this than we thought of, right? They'll never give that image. It is manufactured propaganda designed to divide people because the media is a death cult. When do they cover anything positive done by Trump supporters? Why aren't they covering Latinos for Trump? No, they want to give all the media attention to alt-rodents like Jason Kessler. Here, let's watch that Jason Kessler video again just because it's so funny. This guy, I actually emailed him, and Jack Posobiec can announce this. I emailed him and I said, don't you ever email me again. I actually told him he was garbage. This was months ago. These guys, they've all tried to kiss my ass. I have texts from everybody. That's the whole point why I love the alt-right. It's like, oh, Cernovich and his people are losers. Here, I got texts from all these people begging me to join their little movement. Begging me to have a rally with them. Right? I have all the texts and shit, you know. I don't even post it because they're so irrelevant, unlike the fake news media. I'm not like, oh, they begged me to go to their Unite the Right event. They've begged me to go. Jason Kessler begged to work for me. And I have all the emails and all the texts. They've begged me. But then they'll go, oh, Cernovich is a cuck and, you know, he's a loser and everything and we're the future. You idiots, you tried to recruit me. These guys kissed my ass, had their tongue so far at my ass that I felt violated. But then they're saying, oh, Cernovich, he wants to be on the vanguard. The vanguard of what? Jason Kessler? Some schlub getting carried out like a little punk? Man, this guy is going to get passed around in prison, that's for sure. Good luck in prison, Jason. You're not going to have an easy time in prison. So here, let's watch that Kessler video because it's pretty funny. Here you go. Here's a rat fleeing the sinking ship. No cardio. No. So yeah, that's who the media wants to promote. People like that, some dork, some rat-looking rat fink, alt rodent. So the media will give you all the attention in the world if you want to be a dancing puppet for them, a rodent. But if you actually have anything positive going on or anything good going on, then they got no time for that. They got no time for that. The alt rodents have always kissed up to me, tried to get me their thing. I've never tried to go to an alt-right event. Yeah, go ahead. Find an email where I've ever tried to attend an alt-right event. I never went to NPI. I never went to NPI. I never went to AMRAN. I never went to any of that shit. You look like a Jew. I'm Jewish. Is this new? You didn't know that I was Jewish? My God. So by the way, I'm actually not really Jewish, but I identify as a Jew because it triggers people. Here's what I learned like 2 years ago. Is if it's going to bother people that they think I'm Jewish, then I'm just going to say I'm Jewish. Because I don't want, if that's going to bother you, then good, I do want to bother you. I want to bother you. I want you to think I'm Jewish. If that's really going to get on your nerves, that, oh my God, Cernovich is a Jew, good. Good. That's good for us. All right, so let's go to, where are we at? What was I going to show? I forget what I was going to show. Fired up today, guys. It's terrorism, man. There's no other way around it. It's definitely terrorism. No, I'm not German. Yeah, there's no way around what is going on other than it's domestic terrorism. It's coming from Antifa and it's coming from the alt-rodents. And the media is happy. Yesterday was a good day for the fake news media. What body part am I training today? I've been doing full body. So I've been doing full body because I'm down 15 pounds, but I got 20 more to go. So I'm down 15 pounds, so I'm primarily doing complexes and compound movements. So today I'll do kettlebell. I'll do a circuit of kettlebell swings, push-ups with the fat grips and my feet elevated, and then I'll do the TRX straps. So I do the kettlebell swings, rest 30 seconds, the push-ups, rest 30 seconds, the TRX, rest 30 seconds, and then right back in it. And I do 5 rounds of those for the metabolic effects. And then I'll do some glute bridges and some other stuff. But yeah, I'm primarily doing full body compound movements just to keep my core body temperature. Yeah, core blast, exactly. I'm just trying to keep that's why I'm always sweating, because I'm in metabolic overdrive. It's called the afterburn, is what people kind of colloquially call it. It's where when you boost your metabolic rate so high, that carries on for 18 to 36 hours. So what I do is, so that's why people are like, oh my God, you're sweating a lot. Yeah, because my metabolism is escalated and elevated right now, because I'm always doing really hard full body exercise and everything. All right, I'm gonna who wants me to take calls? What do you think about long-term fasting? I believe in intermittent fasting. Do you guys want to call in? I can set up the hotline. Is that okay for your heart? Well, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to tell people what to do. But for my heart, it is okay. But for other people, I'm in tip-top shape, guys. I got blood work done. I got blood work done because if Deep State tries to kill me or say I have a heart attack, we have blood work to prove that no, I don't. Everything is really low. I'll post it. I'll post my blood work, actually. 866-438-1487. One more time. 1-866-438-1487. We are now going to be taking your calls live. I'll let a few people call and then we'll get going. You are a nut. If I'm a nut, I'm a hard one to crack. By the way, if you're on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. So if you are on YouTube, like and subscribe on YouTube. You, talking to you. If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe. And if you're on Periscope, tap the screen. So here's the kind of people who are sort of new right. David Horowitz. Yes, David Horowitz is a Jew. Oh my God, they're Jews who are right-wing thinkers. Oh my God, what are we going to do? So David Horowitz said, so Ali at ALI, I don't fear white supremacy. I fear a media blind to Antifa's political violence and silencing even Nazi speech. Exactly. And here's the thing about these Nazi idiots, you know? You know how many people like Ali have burned political capital to protect your free speech rights? Maybe have a little bit of effing gratitude. Maybe have a little bit of gratitude. So people like Ali who actually have a life and have connections and have things going on, man, people like him have really done everything they can to defend your free speech Nazi rights. Can you just act like you're not fools? Can you just not be fools? Is it too much to ask to say, hey, there's a lot of people who actually have things going on in their lives. They're trying to defend your free speech rights. So how about you not be fools? Nope. Because it's a parasitic movement. That's why they're all rodents. They're rats. They're inherently parasitic. They have no respect for anybody. At all. Las Vegas, Nevada, how you doing?
Hey, good, Mike. Thanks for taking my call. Right away, I just want to thank you for speaking out against Antifa and for what you did exposing McMaster. Also, I agree with you about against all the Nazi symbolism, the swastikas, the salutes. I don't like it. The thing is when you have college courses like Abolish Whiteness taught in major university systems, and you have every movie, TV, and commercial demonizing white people, you have Newsweek calling "Is your baby racist?" things like that. The time for all of this kind of, to bash the alt-right for Antifa violence is unacceptable. I'm not going to accept it from the media or from anybody else. I read Horowitz's book, by the way. The guy's a hero. I love Stephen Miller. But what happened yesterday, I'm praying that Baked Alaska is not blind. The violence that occurred there, these are people that were going to talk at a statue. It should have got no publicity. It should have been no issue. Those statues are coming down regardless. And, I got to tell you, whoever's running the country right now, when I see monuments coming down, I cannot distinguish this from Islam or Muslims and them invading and occupying places.
And Thomas Jefferson, they're all coming down. And it is cultural Marxism. It's deconstructing. They're going to come after the George Washington monuments and the Thomas Jefferson. It is the death worshippers on the left are trying to completely eliminate all American history. And they're starting with the easy target, which is the Confederate statue. So we all know where this is ending. And we all know that the media and the academy here's the way that you got to think about just as a human being. The left has been saying for decades, we hate white people. We are going to kill you. We are going to murder you. We're going to murder your children. We hate white people. So then when white people show up with shields and start getting violent, and they go, oh my God, where did this come from? This homegrown movement sprouted out of nowhere. You've been telling people, you've been telling them you're going to kill them, and then they actually take you on their word, and they show up ready for fights, and then you got to act, well, I can't understand where this came from. So you're 100% right, sir, where the left and the media are creating this culture. They want this because they're death worshippers. But people like me who recognize the strategic end game of the death cult, that is modern liberalism, the death cult, that is Soros, the demonic forces at work, people like me have to call it out. And if I see people on the alt-rodents being played, then I'm going to say, look, you're playing into their hands. You are fools. You are now part of the death cult by participating in their demonic acts and by playing into that and by letting them manipulate you. So that is where I position it, is that, yes, I will call out the hatred from the left, the anti-white racism. They say openly, kill all white people. I always tell people, go on Twitter and type in kill all white people. and look at how much stuff you find. Go type in rape a white bitch into Twitter right now, and you know what you're going to see? You're going to see people saying rape white women, kill white people, murder people, we want white genocide. You can find it all. So it's 100% it's out there. But that doesn't mean you say, well, they're going to kill us, so we're going to show up and kill them first. No, that means you have to have the high road. You have to say, look at these radicals. They're ferals. These people are terrible. But to do that, you can't have the Nazi people, because I've said this before and I'll say it again. The only person who wants to do a Nazi salute and carry a swastika is either with the ADL or the SPLC, is a Fed, and they're doing provocateurs to disrupt things, or it's a legitimately crazy person. Nobody says, you know, I feel compelled to throw up hails, Sieg Heils and Nazi salutes and put up a Nazi. No sane person wants to do that. So if you don't police your movement and keep people like that out, then what you're going to have happen is what happened yesterday. So again, I've pushed myself far, far away from all this for a long time. And now just for those, because now they're trying to frame me. Chuck Todd's trying to frame me for this nonsense. And then people go, well, Cernovich, why do you get mad at these guys? I'm being framed for this moronic shit that I have been away from forever. No wonder. Why wouldn't I be? They're lucky. These alt-rodents are lucky I don't smack them in their face. Because if I see this Kessler kid, he comes to one of my events, I will. I'm done with these people for sure. So yeah, but you're right. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop calling out the calls for mass murder that we're hearing from the left. I'm not going to stop calling out the anti-white racism and the bigotry and the death cult that is the left. I'm still going to keep on that, 100%. But that doesn't mean I'm going to say, well, they're going to call us a Nazi anyway, so therefore we should tolerate Nazis. So there is a big piece of real estate to occupy, which is that, hey, the left is a death cult. Oh, and these Nazis, they're morons too. They're a death cult. There's a lot of room in between those two positions. And we need to get more people under that real estate. And what happened yesterday was a catastrophe. Now people are trying to claim the March on Google is an alt-right event to shut that down. So people were making big inroads and really supporting free speech. And now people are saying, oh, the Google rallies are alt-right events. So they're trying to kill those free speech marches by labeling alt-right. So I just have to be very, very, very clear about all this stuff. But you're right. There is open bigotry primarily coming from the left, and all of that needs to be called out. The fake news need to be called out. The media, which gives attention to all these people when they should just ignore it, needs to be called out. So there's a lot going on, and it's up to people to take leadership of this. Thank you for your call. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button and subscribe button. So if you are on YouTube, we've got 1,000 people on YouTube and 500 on Periscope. So we're doing all right, 1,600 people. Bitcoin's at 4,000 though. So Bitcoin is big. So yeah, if you're on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for sure, and let's get things rolling. Hold on, I'm gonna take more calls. A bunch of people are on hold, so I do like to take your calls, and I want to take your calls. So let's do another one. Hey, come on up here. Hey, Julius Cernovich. Julius Cernovich was up here. Irving, Texas, how you doing?
Hey, Mike. I just wanted to say thank you for showing some leadership and backbone and being first, going to disavow the political violence that happened yesterday. My question to you is, how are people going to organize and have these events without nutcases like these alt-rodents, which you so aptly named them? How do you prevent them from co-opting, getting involved in the movement, and ultimately getting stuff like this shut down when they come up with their antics and, just totally ruin what will be a productive rally or a productive march?
Yeah, a good line that I say, a great line in the sand is anybody who wants to throw up Nazi salutes can't be allowed. Anybody who wants to carry Nazi flags can't be allowed. And anybody who talks about violence can't be allowed. If you do that, you're going to keep 99% of the rats out of your event. You just say no Nazi salutes. Anybody who talks about breaking the law or violence that says things like, man, we need to do more. We need to do more than just talk. We need to take real action. Nope, that's a Fed or a provocateur, agent provocateur with the ADL and SPLC. So yeah, that's what we do, and that is why And that is why I drew that line with the deplorable, as I said, none of that stuff. And then you have to create that culture. Leadership is about creating that culture. So again, I had a guy crash one of my events, and he started popping off, and I gave the guy, a little tune-up. You have to be ready to do that and let people know, look, if you come into my event looking for trouble, then you're going to find trouble because I'm going to enforce the cultures and the values. So you definitely need... So people are calling me a cuck. Show up to one of my events and call me a cuck. Ask how it went for that last guy. So if you think you're so tough, show up to one of my little events, call me a cuck, and then we'll see how that works out for you.
Let's
okay?
not do any of that.
How it works for the last guy, tough guy. Yeah, so that's what you got to do. Thanks for your call. Hey, New York, how you doing?
So you were just touching upon the remarks on Google, and I want to say, you're giving them a lot of time to prepare. This is Google, and we know that they're in cahoots with the government, the NSA, and all that. So what do you realistically expect from them? You think they're going to let it happen? You think they're going to get shut down beforehand? They're spinning it as an alt-right event.
Yeah, I don't know, actually. So the event was Jack Posobiec's. He's the event organizer. I just helped him set up a web page because I can set up a web page, in 20 minutes.
But what do you realistically expect? Do you really think it's going to happen, or do you think they're going to shut it down because it's an alt-right event, as they're putting it?
Yeah, that's the nature of the internet means it's too hard to say. Right now, I would say 50-50 the marches don't even happen, but that'll be up to Jack Posobiec to show leadership, and this will be, in a way, a very big proving ground for him.
You're not taking any responsibility for that?
No, it's not my event. I actually can't even cover it anymore because I'm going to a wedding. So I plan on covering it as a journalist, and now that I can't...
True love beats political activism.
So then I found out that we were actually going to a wedding, so I can't even cover it as a journalist. So no, that's Jack's event, and this is Jack's opportunity to demonstrate leadership and demonstrate media savvy and public relations savvy to fight the narrative that they're trying to create, which is that the media is claiming... You want to put her... Is she going to fall asleep?
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Say bye, Daddy.
Say bye-bye.
Okay.
So yeah, that's up to Jack and other people who are organizing them to just step up and say, can they fight back against this fake news media narrative? And so we'll see. It definitely, again, it's a big test for people. But they're going to call everything I do alt-right. That's the whole point. It's not my first rodeo. When I tried to give a guerrilla mindset seminar, the first venue canceled because they got death threats from people. And you know what? I found another event, and I had a big seminar, and everybody loved it, and it went great, and I got a good video out of it, and I made a bunch of money doing it. So that's the level you have to play at, though. You have to play it.
Do you expect Soros and those guys to send more, quotes around it, Nazis out to cause trouble in general? Do you see that happening?
Do I think the Nazis will show up?
No. I was saying Antifa people posing as Nazis, in other words. False flag. Do you think this is going to...
Oh, they might. No, the false flaggers are always a real risk. That's why if you see anybody with a Nazi flag, you just run them out of your event. You just say that's not allowed, and you run them out. No, we're not in a world where we can just have an event and not expect media lies and not expect false flags and Antifa and everything else. You just have to get used to it, and all of that can happen.
Do you think the Tiki Torch March was real?
I don't know who funded it. It was definitely real. If I had to guess,
where did they get all those tiki torches? You think?
Well,
they were all like, who do you think did that?
Where's the money coming from? Great question, sir. That's what I've been saying. Is where's the money for their shields, their flags, their 500 tiki torches at $30 each, $1,500.
But do you think is it possible that was Soros, or you just say no way?
Oh no, alt-right is a deep state organization. It's not. It is now funded by deep state operatives as a way to harm Trump. Yeah, it's not a real movement anymore. It might have been at one point. No, it's a deep state thing. That's
what I'm saying. So you agree that the Tiki Torch March that was deep state?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no question about that. Who would say, let's do iconography from the KKK? Hey, let's So think about it. You're the alt-right and you want to be respectable. And you go, you know what? At the alt-right meeting, you're saying, we want to be respectable. We want to talk about white identity politics in a respectable way. Let's do a fire march like the KKK would do. Yeah, great idea, because that's really going to look respectable, and that's going to help you elbow your way into the table of debate and conversation.
Everybody's worst nightmare.
Yeah, of course.
Come to life.
Of course, yeah, it's a deep state operation. Now, rather, there's probably the Chinese funding it too. There's a lot of people, involved in that, but they're 100% that is not it's not a real thing anymore. It's definitely deep state.
And Bannon is out, you think?
No, the media wants Bannon out, and the media wants Bannon and Stephen Miller out, and they're using this as a full court press to get rid of him.
No, but Mooch today, right? He said he acted like it's likely that Bannon is out, and that seems to be the word. I want to know what you think, because is that your source?
Is Bannon my source? No, I wish Bannon was my source. The thing with the White House is that Mooch was safe when I said he was safe, and then 3 days later he's fired. So in the White House, nobody is safe ever. But I don't think that the Bannon stuff, I think it's overblown. McMaster has been trying to use this to his advantage. So, for example, McMaster was on Meet the Press today attacking Bannon, saying he doesn't know if they can work together, whatever. So the whole point is that when I tweeted out 3 days before Scaramucci got fired, I go, anybody who's claiming Scaramucci is out is full of it, right? Because at the time that was true. And then General Kelly came in, and then Mooch is out. So that's the way nobody's safe. You can show up tomorrow and your key won't work. Nobody in the NSC is safe. McMaster, nobody is safe at all. Well, General Kelly is for a while anyway. And Jared and Ivanka. But other Jared and Ivanka, I would say the only people safe at the White House, Jared, Ivanka, General Kelly, he'll be safe for like 6 to 9 months because you don't want another chief of staff. Those are the only 3 people who are safe right now. But the Bannon stuff, we see this all the time, so I don't think that there's anything different or that it's changed to where it's gotten really bad or gotten really worse. It's just like that every day. That's why it looks like he's been laying low. Gorka, so Kelly wants Gorka out. McMaster tried to fire Gorka before. Trump personally intervened to keep Gorka. And then Trump got mad when McMaster fired Rich Higgins. So I think Gorka might be somewhat safe too. But again, man, it is a Game of Thrones happening in there. Daenerys and her dragons were safe, and now her dragons can get hit by that Scorpion device too. So that's that's the environment we're in the White House.
But hey, hold on, just because you mentioned the Chinese funding, the Tiki March and all this, do you think it's possible Google's behind it?
No.
Why say that with such a surety? Why?
Why would Google? Because the alt-right thing was being funded by deep state for a while with the Nazi salute stuff and the.
But you guys, I say you, and you know what I mean when I say you. Okay, it's not your thing, but you guys are stoking the fires against Google, which I think is great.
Well, I'm not.
You're messing with a giant, right?
Well, the Google thing is this. The Google thing was always the free speech people. Jordan Peterson, the people who support free speech.
You're making them look bad.
Not the alt-right. So, I mean, is it the Google people? I guess they could hire people to do that. They're not. These tech people aren't that. They're not that tough. So the kind.
But isn't Google associated with the NSA? Aren't they giving information to the government? Hasn't that been proven?
Yeah, they're backdooring everything. The Google people, though, funny. I mean, like I said, anything's possible. But knowing what I know,
it has to be the Google people, but it has to be people behind the scenes who are basically saying we can't have Google look bad.
But so again, it's within the realm of possibility. The world we live in, a lot of things are within the realm of possibility.
Discredit the alt-right ahead of the marches. Therefore, by the time the marches come around, you're all discredited as
the alt-right. The alt-right has been discredited for a long time. I'm not part of the alt-right,
but they're painting,
and I haven't been.
March on Google as an alt-right.
Sure, and that's brilliant on their part. That is brilliant information. The media is doing that, though. The media is doing it. Yeah, but the media is doing that, though. The media and the deep state operatives are doing that. It isn't the Google people. The Google people aren't that savvy. I've met them. They aren't that. But there are people who could do this for them. Oh, for sure. And it's a brilliant counter maneuver. I mean, if you want to just talk about the strategic landscape, everybody's leveled up. So it's a brilliant maneuver to now say, oh, wow, the March on Google, which had nothing to do with the alt-right, is now, we're going to brand it an alt-right event, and we'll have the media talk about more alt-right things, and there's this murder, and people are capitalizing on the murder. Oh, for sure. It's a brilliant maneuver. But that strikes me more as, so in life, it's always hard to separate opportunism versus predestination or predetermination. So Google and the deep state media are taking advantage of this terrorist attack yesterday. That's opportunism. But just because you take advantage of an opportunity doesn't mean that you orchestrated and played it. You could have just said, oh, we'll wait for these idiots to mess up, we'll catch them slipping, and then we'll seize the opportunity.
You don't look at a thing of how did that car get in there. You're not looking at those angles. You don't see it that way. Like, why wasn't the road barricaded? You don't see that. We
know
what it was.
No, I mean, we know why it was complete chaos. Streets were open and people were marching in the middle of streets. No, that's why. I mean, there's already a bunch of conspiracy theories going around that the guy was a stunt driver, this and that. No, I watched the whole thing in real time, and what happened was that the police ordered the alt-right rally to disperse, and then the counter-protesters just started marching in the streets. The streets hadn't been barricaded off because it was an unlawful assembly by the counter-protesters. So there, if you watch the actual video where the guy drove into the crowd, there were already cars driving down the street peacefully too. So it definitely isn't anything like that. Thanks for your call. If you're on YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button. But yeah, it's a weird thing. There's a lot of weird things going on. It's always hard to figure out who's behind it all and who isn't. But the Google people, I think they're just taking advantage of an opportunity. They're taking advantage of an opportunity, and the deep state media is doing it too. They're jumping on top of a dead body. They're jumping on top of a dead body to score points against Trump and Stephen Miller and Bannon, and that really shows you what an evil thing the media is. Waltham, Massachusetts, how you doing?
Good, Mike. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for all you do for the movement.
Welcome.
And I'm from south of Boston. I'm going to be attending the free speech rally we're having there next weekend. Gavin McInnes, Kyle Chapman, Cassandra Fairbanks, and August Invictus. I'm not familiar with that gentleman. But I was planning on attending, and so far there's 33 of us going. Any advice for the people that are attending the rally there next weekend to try and avoid, because they're already painting this as an alt-right event, and, I'm not in support of the alt-right. I'm in support of them having their events without being shouted down or beaten down by Antifa. But they're already painting us as of like mind, and we have a heavy Antifa presence in a very liberal city like Boston. Just trying to any advice for people going to try and prevent it from just being another really bad optics event?
Is that the free speech one that Gavin McInnes will be at?
Yeah, I'm looking at the group page right now for our chapter, and it looks like we just raised enough money to get Basic Man to come as well. Gavin McInnes has confirmed to us that he's going. Kyle Chapman.
Okay, Gavin's a smart guy. So Gavin, this isn't Gavin's first rodeo. He's 43 or 44. He's dealt with this Nazi shit for a long time. So Gavin will definitely show leadership on that and how to prevent that from happening. But again, if a guy throws up a Nazi salute or Nazi flag or drops N-bombs, just say you got to get out of here. You got to leave, buddy. You got to leave, because here's why. Right? Here's why you have to do that. Is even if you have a scuffle, then the story becomes scuffle breaks out because Nazi threw up a salute. Well, the message there, though, is you guys tried to kick him out, right? So you always have to think of what story are people going to tell about what we have here. So if somebody comes in, throws up Nazi salutes, start dropping N-bombs or whatever, you just rush them out of there. And then if you have to rough the guy up a little bit, I've had to rough people up before. I don't have a problem with that at all. If people want to have their Nazi rally, I'm not going to go to it, and I'm not going to do any violence to them. They can have their dumb little rally. But if they come to my event talking shit or trying to discredit me, I have no problem at all. No problem at all getting a little physical with them. And that's the world that we live in. You have to sometimes be willing to get physical with people if they're trying to come in and sabotage something that you've worked for. They're a trespasser, and you have the right, in my view, I'll remove a trespasser from any of the things that I do, but I won't go to their event. So that's the reality. A scuffle breaks out.
And that's why I've been... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that's why I was so receptive when I saw the Proud Boys come on the scene, is because we needed to do something more than what we were doing. I've been a long time listener of people like Alex Jones. I became familiarized with yourself during the 2016 campaign, and I've always loved people like Matt Drudge and everybody else. And we've been emphasizing intellectual diversity, content of character, and we have all of these intellectual titans on our side, people like Larry Elder, Dinesh D'Souza, yourself, Alex Jones. All of these people, and it still wasn't working. We were still getting somehow in the court of public opinion, everybody saw us as just this flea to be brushed aside. And so when the Proud Boys came on the scene, I kind of liked they have this the West is the best, and just this flair that's kind of more than what we were doing before in the effect that when we're going to be met with physical violence, we're not afraid to give it straight back. So that should be on the table, but not necessarily at the forefront. And I do agree with you that Gavin McInnes is seems like a straight up guy from my point of view, and he'd probably have a good handle on things. And it seems like the group of guys that we got in our chapters will be pretty good as well, and keeping a good handle on things. One more quick question before I go. People are trying to paint Matt Drudge as getting off the Trump train with today's headline. What are your opinions on that? Because I feel like Drudge was definitely a kingmaker in 2016, and it would be sad to see him go. But I haven't seen anything from him personally. It's just a headline on Drudge today.
Well, Drudge is kind of like me, man. I support Trump, obviously, and worked hard for Trump during the campaign in terms of off the grid, helping people, helping get elected. But we're still journalists. I still have a job to cover what is going on. Drudge still has a job to cover what is going on. So you can't just say, you can't be a Bill Mitchell. Bill Mitchell's job is to be Bill Mitchell. My job and Drudge's job is to share news and information consistent with our worldview. But that means when Trump is maybe making a mistake, we have to address it and handle it responsibly.
What do you think he was trying to, or what do you think? What type of signal would you be sending if you said something like that on your site?
What you mean the headlines?
Would the headline "Make America Hate Again"? I'm confused. Is that just something?
It's clever.
Editorializing the article.
Yeah. It's just
or is it just?
Yeah, it's a clever headline. It's a clever way to. It's a clever way to point out what is happening. Yeah, that's all that is.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you, dude. Have a good day. All right, so I'm going to listen to this McMaster clip.
Should be motivated, but can you and Steve Bannon still work together in this White House or not? I get to work together with a broad range of talented people, and it is a privilege every day to enable the national security team.
You didn't answer. Can you and Steve Bannon work in that same White House?
I am ready to work with anybody who will help advance the president's agenda and advance the security, prosperity of the American people.
Do you believe Steve Bannon does that?
I believe that everyone who works in the White House, who has the great privilege every day of serving their nation, should be motivated by that goal.
Okay. General McMaster, the National Security Advisor. Thanks.
So yeah, the knives are out. McMaster's knives are out. He's going after Bannon. Told you that was going to happen. Laughlin, Nevada, how you doing?
Fine. How you doing? My name's Harmon Walker.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. I want to worst things, of course, I'm going to touch on this subject just a second, is that, yeah, I don't like all the monuments throughout the United States being taken down. I don't care what monument it is. It's our history. But this is all a big psyop. There's 500 people. It's minute. It's nothing. If they didn't have Antifa and them all show up, nothing would even been mentioned on this stuff. What are they doing? I worked 31 years in the government, 9 years over in the military, and 23 years as a prison guard. As long as they keep us fighting each other, they're deflecting from the real story. Every time the mainstream media barely starts touching on the corruption in Washington, D.C., on the pedophiles and all that kind of stuff, they give us something like this to take our attention away. We need to get off this little bitty incident. We had more people fight like that than a freaking prison riot in one day.
Well, there was a murder. Well, I mean, there was a murder. I mean, if it had just been a street fight like the Battle of Berkeley, then that's fine. But it wasn't just a street fight. It was actually murder, terrorism. So there's no way to talk about this other than to say it was a domestic terrorist attack, and these alt-rodents need to be viewed as Antifa and other terrorist organizations that are active in America.
It's 500 people. It's no big deal.
Well, they murdered the murder.
How many children
I know
yesterday
the murder.
All this stuff?
The murder. Political violence is different because the idea that if you can't peaceably assemble in America, that because I get the line of thinking. The line of thinking goes, how many people died of a heart attack. When you compare absolute deaths between that, then it's a small thing. So now I understand the statistical thinking and the bigger point that you're trying to make, but above all that is the point that if you can't have a protest in America, whether you're Antifa or the alt-rodent people, then we lose something about America, and things are going to escalate, and then terrorism will become kind of a way of life. So that's the issue there.
Well, sir.
Fresno, California, how you doing? Fresno, California? Can't hear you, dude. All right, we're going to take a couple more calls. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. If you're watching on Periscope, tap the screen a few times. 2 more calls.
Yeah, that was okay.
Baltimore, Maryland, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Living the dream.
Hello?
Yes.
Oh. Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah, well, how's it going, Mike? Well, first of all, thank you for, condemning, I guess, the political violence. Obviously, the media is having a field day. I've been watching some of the stuff, and it's, they're pretty. It seems like some of them are pretty happy about, fighting the good fight against the white nationalists or whatever they're doing. But some of my questions are, how do we prevent ourselves from becoming the image of the thing that we're fighting? If we're fighting the left, and then we end up becoming just as bad as the left. And I also wanted to know about that James Fields guy. Who is the guy? What is his background?
I don't know. The Fields kid just sounds like a mentally ill kid looking for meaning. He wanted to commit a mass killing. He wanted to be famous for it. There are, unfortunately, people like that. Very sick people who they want to commit murder publicly because they'll get free publicity, and the media is all too willing to give you that kind of publicity. So that's what I view the Fields kind of event as.
Yeah, and also, how do we prevent ourselves from, I guess, becoming the image of the thing that we're fighting? In other words, you always talk about Hegelian dialectic, or how we're getting this synthesis. Do you think it's just, there are people who are coming in from the outside, or that some of the people on the right are being transformed or radicalized to such an extent that our movement will be co-opted?
Oh, yeah, no. There's a Nietzschean quote. He who fights with monsters, be careful not to become a monster. I'll definitely take responsibility for. I'm going to tone down my own rhetoric. Oh, by the way, thank you for the super chat, Charlie C. I want to be more careful in my wording. I didn't realize that there were so many people who were like actual lunatics. So even when I address issues, I'm definitely going to, be careful with how we talk about and everything, and try to be more inspiring and uplifting, which I'd always try to do. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, the sound should be back on. Sorry about that, YouTubers. I don't know what the hell happened.
It's really weird because it's like we want people to kind of follow good ideas. I praise people for their good ideas, not necessarily for a person or the cult of personality of Trump or whoever. And it's kind of hard because people want to see leaders, they want to have leadership, and so the person themselves kind of becomes this embodiment of something rather than the idea itself that we're trying to pursue.
Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of hard.
Well, yeah, I agree. We have to show leadership. No, there's no question about it. We have to show leadership. Sorry about that, buddy. I got to go for a second. YouTube killed the sound on my stream. Thank you for your call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, YouTube's. All right, let me see if I got sound back. So, do I not have sound on my YouTube? Wow. So YouTube killed my sound. The unbelievable, guys. Mic check. So this is amazing. I can actually see, so I'm on YouTube, and I can actually, but if you listen on YouTube, there is no sound. Wow. This is unbelievable. All right, let me disconnect the microphone, and we'll see. This, again, these are the subtle ways. All right, mic check. Hello, YouTube. Can you hear me now? Yeah, these are the subtle ways that YouTube messes with us. The way, the deep state, what they'll do is I'm actually here trying to be positive, and they kill the sound to my stream. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just the way it is, guys. This is the kind of stuff we deal with, all the time. So yeah, YouTube killed my sound, and they didn't even, the dirty trick that they played on YouTube is that they didn't even, in my control booth, I could see the little green bar moving. So I could even see the green bar moving in my control booth, but when I was talking, you couldn't even hear. Unbelievable, guys. And this is what I'm trying to be positive. And that's the whole point, is that even if you're trying to elevate the conversation, they want to censor you. The only people they want to have a voice are people who are lunatics, murderers. That's who they want to give media attention to. That's who they want to support, the mass murderers. Anyway, I'm going to go to the gym, get some stuff done today. I'll be having another Periscope soon, so be sure to like my Periscope, go over my YouTube page, subscribe to that. I'm going to get a workout.